Hey guys, Happy New Year. I have a new video for you. And in this video I show reoccurring patterns in which I believe prove that they align and with these overlays. And with that, I just want to show people that they are factual. And some of the stuff you've seen before, some of it's new. I hope you guys like this video and the alignments in it. First, I want to show you what Plate Tectonics thinks is a good alignment. What started Plate Tectonics is the fact that back in the day, they noticed the coastlines from South America and Africa seemed very similar because you got this coming out and then you got this going in, right? So they figured, oh, something must have split those apart. Well, if you take a look, you could tell that it's not a good match. Even when I try to make it fit, it fits kind of there, but look at the huge gap. Huge gaps everywhere. And like I said, they claim that the Mid-Atlantic Ridge split these apart and pushed them away from each other. So that's their evidence, their observable evidence, and that's good enough for you. I mean, that's what they say anyways. So here we go. This is the pattern I'm going to start out with, and I'm going to show you the new things that I found with it. And then at the end of the video, I hope to show you some new quick overlays. Okay, here's that overlay. And this time I'm going to do something a little bit different. And what I did is you can see here, I lightened the image up and I hand drew in the edges here so that you could see it better when I overlay it on top of things. But I wanted to show you something about this area that's unique, and it would be the organization of these islands right here. You can see that they're like the equal distance apart from one another. They seem to be spaced in an arch, a nice smooth arch. And in nature, there's only so many things that could do something like that. So what I plan on doing is I've taken and I've darkened each of those islands right here on top of everything. And I can use them just like a fingerprint can be used to prosecute someone at a crime scene. I can place this area all over the planet by matching these up. These unique islands aren't so unique after all. These recurring patterns are actually from the source that created the planet to begin with. And that's where I'm going with this. And let me show you my first alignments here, which will be, I'll start my way from closest to furthest away. So let's bring this up. Here's South America. Here's North South America. Here's my first alignment. And you can see that the shape of it right there alone looks a lot like this. But to make sure that that's what it is, we'll zoom in and you'll see these islands. See how they line up with the spacing? What are the odds that that would happen? Is that like a coincidence? Well, I think one time would be a coincidence. But then when I take the same area and I move it right here and it fits there, well, that's kind of hard to think that's a coincidence. And then if I take the same area and I move it to here, that's kind of hard to believe that would be a coincidence too, right? How many coincidences can I have to line stuff up? Because this matches the Amazon River. I need to draw in more of this. I should have drew this in too. But if I had, you'd see that this lines up right here. You could tell with the lines anyways. So you get that 1, 2, 3, And look at this right here, how good that lines up. I already showed you this. It fits there, it fits there, and then there. What I want to show you now is this area right here. You can already see that, you know, the similarities. That it's got that arch right there. And of course we want to look for the island. If we can find any of those, that helps substantiate this. And you can see these features lining up with the islands. As a matter of fact, there's one dot right there. And that's probably where it sat. Look, you can see how it just fits right in there like no problem. And then when you back out, you can see the turbulence right here. And you can see this right here as you move it back and forth, because this thing, it's actually spinning. So that's what my opinion is. This is spinning. So it kind of wobbles around. So you see that it lines up when I move things over here and over there. Everything nearby, you know, fits in here somehow, because this is somehow responsible for the creation of this material or moving it. And then see here we got this. I always think of this like as a reptilian eye, and whenever I see something that looks like a reptilian eye, I automatically know it's going to be related to that right there, or one of those nearby it, because they're all, the ones nearby it are reoccurring patterns of it. So sometimes they fit better than the actual source, because they're closer to each other when they're created. Okay, so that, and then also I think if you move it forward, you're going to find out that it's going to match some features on here, which it does. You can even see this stuff right here. You can see that when I hit the continent of Africa here, you can see also it lines up. But for instance, you see this right here. See how that fits in there, and then this fits in there by Italy. You got Italy's boot. Once I rotate this, it'll fit in there like a football. And then we got this stuff right here, which I don't know if I should get into right now. Okay, and then of course this thing flips around, so it should line up with the reverse too in other places nearby it. Yeah, it sure does. Well, these markings do right here. See this right here? This has something to do with the inland features, because this is spinning. See that, how that wraps around the turbulence here, wraps around this part. This thing made the planet so it's gonna fit all over the place, even in places it doesn't look like it would. And that's the beauty of this. This is strong evidence. That's why, you know, I've said this before, I'm not worried about being debunked, because I've already seen enough of this to realize that this is it. Look at, here we go again. Looking for our islands. And you can tell, again, the chewed up coastlines match the island. This is like forensics. If it's good enough for the court system, well, it should be good enough for the science too, because it doesn't get any better than that in matching identifications. This is makes it obvious that these two are the same thing. And then you can see how it also fits again here, because like this is the main reoccurring pattern, and this was created by it, but it's still, they fit. Whatever this fits, this is going to fit. And you see that that fits in there, so you know that this round area will also fit right here. And they always do. Well, I've been doing this for 3 years now, and it blows me away because these always fit. See how it keeps fitting, like I said? Our islands match up too. It always does. Never once do I line these up and go, oh darn it, these islands they're not lining up. They do, because they made it, and this is the way it is. If they didn't make it, they wouldn't line up. Or it'd be questionable or something like that. There's no question. You look at this and you can tell that even this is responsible for these features in Japan. Okay, so I showed you this. I showed you that. Here's this. See that? Here's their islands again. Right there. And they line up. I mean, this goes on opposite sides of the planet. This Earth cannot be that old. The surface features don't support an old Earth. It's so easy to line these up that I can just simply bring it over here and match it up on Australia, and it's going to match up right there. The teeth marks here in the middle of Australia, you just have to look for a few seconds and then you just find them and line them up. The features, you could tell that they're related. See the dots? It's because of these islands. There was even a scientist not too long ago that claimed that he had evidence of a meteor impacted somewhere here in Australia. But I can tell you, I bet you he's wrong. I bet you what he's seeing is he's seeing the electrical results from this. Look at that circular place right there. There's what made it. And you could tell that this simply rotates 90 degrees, and it might even flip over, but it was spinning right here. And this is the result, what it did right there. This is a result of a vortex. I feel like that these could not have been continents on the surface when this happened. This had to be when these were part of the core and a larger image of a vortex. That's what I think is going on here. Or another planet, a smaller planet. Look at that, how similar the features are between Antarctica and Australia. It's kind of obvious. I don't even need to go and take the snow off. I just know that this is going to fit. Even when I flip it around, it'll still fit that way too. Okay, so anyways, I don't want to run out of time here. Then we got this. This looks like a python. Yeah, a python with the eye and the snout and the markings and the scales. And so does this. This looks like half of a python. And you can start to even see that it starts to line up right off the bat when I pull this in. Line that up with the eye there. bring it in because there'll be another eye right there, or right there even. See right there? As this lines up with the islands here, you see the land features have lines and shapes that line up with these islands. You can even see if this island was drug, it would make that line. With the other ones too, you can see other ones forming. And if all that doesn't convince you, let me show you this. Remember this and this, how they lined up? Man, that's pretty good too. And then it was also lined up here in Alaska and Canada. Remember, like that. Probably rotates too, but actually this is behind it. I know that this is from twisting too. So, but you saw how this lined up here, right? Like that. Well, if these two lined up, then wouldn't these two line up, and would that not confirm that these alignments are genuine and they do defy plate tectonics? Well, let me show you what happens when you line them up. Okay, when you bring it in, you can see that they in fact do line up. Check it out. But it's moving and it's longer. So let me see if I can explain this correctly. And look at, okay, see right there it lines up already with here with the features. You see that? How I move it back and forth so you can see it. Notice that Yellowstone Park is following those dots. When I line it up here, you can see that it's right here. This is Yellowstone Park right here, this dot. Now, that's significant because that reveals a lot about Yellowstone Park and those islands. I always said that Yellowstone Park was a point of rotation. Dot by dot, check it out. Okay, so here's Yellowstone Park right here. See, as it fits, as it lines up with those dots, you can see the rest of the stuff lining up, maybe. And you get the picture, what's going on. So you can see how that lines up right there. But then it doesn't end there. This comes in and lines up like it should. And what you got is this right here. Now you see this triangular, it looks like an eye to me. Yeah, you can see the features lining up right there, but actually what lines up is you see this dot right here and that right there. Look at right here and here. I'm claiming these are images of the Birkeland currents that created this planet. And they go under and over around each other. And I think this is the ones that broke off or something. Here's the triangle right here. See how it fits right around it? And then there's that lake of rotation. So look, that's Alaska. Now look at the rest here. See, look how it fits around. And you can see the California Basin area is close to the Amazon River, which I claim is a discharge. Okay, so you see that? That's pretty interesting, right? I have a funny feeling though. Let's see. Okay, so you see how that lines up right there? There's something else too. Oh yeah, you can see how when that lines up there, this lines up here. And you can see that you see these square islands or whatever. You can see they're related right there. See, look how the islands line up too with the Birkeland currents. And then it arches the other way because this flip-flopped. Okay, check this out as I bring this in. Let's see, this goes here. You can see the background features lining up here, and when I bring it in, you can see that Yellowstone Park seems to line right up with the Amazon River. The black dot is Yellowstone Park. But it's interesting to see that this band right here seems to slide right in, which is a reoccurring pattern of Yellowstone Park, by the way. And then you have Yellowstone Park follow that, which would be like the same thing as these dots right here. Okay, remember this area again with this area right here. Remember? So what's trippy about this is that this is flip-flop now. And here's the way it was originally when I lined it up here. So you see that lines up there, right? And then the flip-flop. You know what's trippy is look at the similarities here. I'll do that later. Here's the flip-flop version, and it still lines up. But it lines up here, so check this out. So then I line this up here. And you can see that there's those islands and the markings, right? They line up again. And then you take a look and you look at the similarities here. What are the odds, you know? Remember I showed you this guy also reversed, coming in and in the other video creating the Gulf of Mexico and Florida, but he was reversed. You see how he fits on the west side now? And then if you flip this around, you get this, look. And then you get this. And then I think this is the flip-flop. But can you see how this works out? Look, it even... And then look at the Amazon River right there. As that fits right into that round part right there. Boy, this is so hard to do. Oh my God. I can't even begin to tell you how hard it is to keep track of all this. But I want to let you know before I end this video that there is a whole lot of stuff I haven't put up yet that's brand new, and it's amazing stuff. Stuff about Africa and the Pacific Ocean. And I can't wait to show you the rest of this, but check this out. Right here, this is a subduction zone, right? I claim that these subduction zones are actually retraction zones. They're retracting slightly. And here's my proof. Does that look like a subduction zone now? The subduction zone is when a plate is sliding underneath another plate because it's heavier. You can tell right away that that's not the case here. Because these line up, they tell a different story. They tell that the subduction zone is actually sliding off. It's not sucking in a plate. It's slid away. It's the outer layer of a smaller planet that's been pulled back and slid. And by doing so, I guess it must have let this, South America, uncovered South America. And I believe this is because the Earth is increasing in size. You see that? Look. Look at the details. Look at the precision. If this had better resolution, you would see these dashes lining up with the other dashes in here. And then on top of that, see that there's this beveling right here too. So you can see that it has a lot to do with this. And then of course if this guy rotates out, he's going to line up with the features over here. But also you can't forget this right here. as an alignment. See the similarities? See the eye thing? And then you got this guy. Okay, look, and then I forgot to show you. Okay, also, there's the beveling here. Also, though, there's this right here lining up with those islands. And then you see this right here, that's from rotation. When I bring it in here, you can see it lines up with the Amazon River. More evidence that the Amazon River is not made by gravity. It's made by electromagnetism, because it's an electrical discharge scar. And water just so happened to fill up in it, because there happens to be a rainforest on top of it. Otherwise, it'd be a big lake. And let's see. Then you got this fitting with the Amazon. And what else? Let's see here. Oh yeah, duh. When I line this up here, take a look at the overspill. This is the overspill pouring like a. As these features line up below, this shows you another part of the story. This is the overspill I've been talking about all this time. And this is what coded the process that created our planet. See, as it comes back in, and then not only that, well, I know that India is right here. So this is interesting. This will be in the next video, I guess, or one of the next ones. Look at that as this slides down. There's just no way of getting around this. These reoccurring patterns are the real deal, and they destroy plate tectonics. Also, I just want to say that these reoccurring patterns that I just showed you are just a small piece of what I've got. And what they are is they are factual pieces of evidence. They're observable evidence, and they're facts because they line up over and over again like I say they do. But of course, I have to argue with trolls who think that for some reason evolution and life itself somehow discredits what I'm claiming. But it's not what I'm claiming. These are observable evidence. You got to discredit those if you want to discredit me. But they're not that smart for some reason. They keep arguing and arguing about stuff that has nothing to do with my alignments, thinking that somehow I'm just going to crumble. Well, that's never going to happen. And after this video, I wonder what my trolls are thinking anyways. Let's take a look. Seahawks, what's wrong? Where are you Keep going. Come on, it's not that bad, man. It's only going to get worse, but it's not that bad yet. Come on. Seahawks.
That day, for no particular reason, I decided to go for a little run. So I ran to the end of the road, and when I got there, I thought maybe I'd run to the end of town.
President Carter, suffering from heat exhaustion, fell into the arms of...
And when I got there, I thought maybe I'd just run across Greenbow County. And I figured since I run this far, maybe I'd just run across the great state of Alabama.
And he was never seen again.
I ran
The end.
across